Hello, my beautiful friend. I'm Serenity Ravenwolf,
And I'm Robert Hubbs.
and together we are Love Heals Humanity.
And this week we're talking about clarity. Clarity, freeing the senses to connect to truth. This is such a powerful topic. This is one of those ones that just look really stay with you. I know it's really stayed with me. And if we and I'm sure you all read in the description, I'm foaming, I'm just jumping at it here. Clarity is a state of peace and the key to having it all. It's that relaxed, receptive state, which is absolutely critical. I mean, think about how complex our life has gotten these days and how, muddled everything's become. And this is about opening up to receive new information, to receive the connections like we talked about last week, about the connections from the universe, about the things that are subtle. Well, when you get those subtle messages, what are you going to do with them? You don't want to have them, wrapped up in fear and worry and doubt. That all clouds who we are. That clouds each and every one of us. Oh, I hear you coughing there, Serenity.
I pressed mute.
We don't want to cloud our visionary self. We don't want to cloud our creativity. We don't want to cloud who we are. So that's this week's topic. So clarity, serenity.
Yes, and
Two sides
obviously,
of that
speaking
same
of
coin.
clarity, obviously my mute button doesn't work for me to clear my throat, so maybe I just won't do that again.
Yeah.
Clarity is really important. For me, it's like the king, the queen, the flying purple monkey is the all there is. Because without clarity of what you like, you dislike, and what your soul and heart's desires are, you're in a way, metaphorically, like a piece of lint floating around on the winds of the universe, dropping into other people's lives who have clarity about what they desire, helping them in direct and indirect ways to fulfill their desires. And then wondering why what you desire never shows up. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense, and I'm sure lots of people watching today, and if you're watching in the replay, you can go ahead and comment on where you find clarity in your life and where you don't find clarity in your life. Because I think you're right, sir. I think a lot of us are just caught up in that. So busy.
Yeah, and to tag on the end of that, some areas of our lives we have total clarity, and certain areas it's like we're blindsided and we have no freaking clue of what our desires are. And does anyone ever experienced that? I know I have.
Yeah, I have too.
Yeah, and the good thing about clarity is the next question is, well, how can I get clarity? And I've created a process that we'll mention at the end, but I'll just briefly touch on it now, that walks and steps you through the easy steps on how to get clarity about what it is you desire. Yeah, and I call it the clarity process. Go figure, what a neat concept.
I'm glad you didn't come up with some complicated name for the clarity process. That would be,
I
not befitting.
I do my best to keep it as simple as possible. I can actually
But
turn my phone off this week, yay.
oh yeah, I already turned mine off.
I forgot.
I do think, this is one of those topics that seems to, we all think, or I guess maybe not all, I don't want to speak for everybody, but it seems pretty common that from the outside, if you ask somebody, they know what they want in life, they know where they're going in life, they know what life's about. And when you sit down and you really talk to people, I think so many people have kind of lost that clarity and that perspective. And it's not like you can just drive to a store and buy some clarity. It's not like you can look up how do I, what's clarity? Like how do I make clear decisions? How do I get clear on my life? You don't buy it in a six pack. Like it's clarity is the wisp. It's ephemeral. It's mist.
I don't know where you're shopping, What do you mean you can't buy it by the half dozen pack? Just joking. Something else I find too is other things that block our clarity. And this first one is just like a totally overall general. Any high emotion, whether they be positive or what we consider negative, is anything ever really negative? Is high emotions. When they're high, you can't think straight. You're more in your head, and sometimes to the degree that whatever that emotion is high and extreme, sometimes even with good and happiness and excitement, we kind of even eject out of our bodies. And from those states of being, it's really hard to get clarity. Clarity is more about getting some alignment into your heart and getting out of here and down into here, which is out of your head and down into your heart. And even better if you can align the two. And a lot of people are, on that note, to piggyback off that, a lot of people are struggling to have clarity on what it is that they do desire because of these high emotions. Like, we let fear get in the way, fear of the unknown or known. And fear is a big one. Fear, scared, anything that's remotely feels like it could potentially be paralyzing. And even fear to the extreme, like that high emotion, is absolutely paralyzing. You got this big, bodacious, hairy goal or desire that you like, right? And then that fear sinks in, and then you don't know what the next steps are or what to do. It's like, in a way, the greatest trick is to just get out of the way. Like, we are our own world's worst enemies in that way. We allow our head and our thoughts and fear of the known and the unknown and what may or may not happen, or will people stop liking me, and all of that stuff. But walking through the process that I've created is, me, super simple.
Yeah. Well, and that's good, because so much complexity, so much noise in our lives, we're constantly being caught up in it. And I think, you mentioned fear. For a lot of people, and many of the people that I've talked to, when we talk about what blocks them, and and this is true in business, when I'm talking to business contacts, or it's true in personal life, it's social contacts, is they may not label it as fear, but they don't know what to do, and they don't want to make a mistake. And I think we've socialized fear out of the conversation, when it's really what's there. It's what's underneath us. That not wanting to make a mistake it comes down to the same thing. It comes down to afraid of something, fearful of an outcome, of looking bad, of looking stupid.
Or wondering if suddenly you went out and earned $1 million a year, you'd have all your vulture family after you, or none of them would want to know you, because of course you fear of succeeding more than anybody you know, and your family and your loved ones. It's this, and then that said, though, we're talking about fear, and obviously after chatting about it, fear is actually a big roadblock in the way. And the greatest and easiest and most simplest way I deal with fear, and I believe we touched on this and talked about it in one of the earlier episodes a few weeks ago, is get out of here, get yourself whatever that takes. For me, it's just a feather, and then the feather does what feather does, and it drops down, down, down. And acknowledge it, call it out. Oh, Serenity, sweetheart. Like I'm speaking to a toddler, that's hurt or has had a boo-boo or woke up from a bad dream. Serenity, you're experiencing and feeling fear right now. It's okay, honey. I love you. Tell me all about it. Come on in. Would you like to stay a while? Unpack your bag. Because what we often do with fear is, and many 3D modalities teach you to whack it down, destroy it, uncreate it, let it go, sit on it, stomp on it, whatever. Anything other than acknowledging it, being the divinely loving presence for it, letting it feel loved, seen, heard, and acknowledged. Isn't that what we all desire? What's the difference with that person that's feeling fear is like an aspect of the totality of the disco ball that is us, right? And that is also an aspect of an inner child aspect of ourselves. Why would you speak to a 2-year-old with anything other than love and let me hug you and tell me all about it? So that they feel seen and heard and acknowledged. And anything that feels seen, heard, and acknowledged feels complete, and it feels like it can go home now. Feeling way more calmer and way more clear and clarity than it did a moment ago when it was knocking on your door. It's like, oh, I'm really scared.
I think we also have a strange relationship, and I don't, maybe someone wants to comment on this, on their relationship with fear. To just kind of the point of what you were saying is, it's not about crushing it down. Fear has a purpose. It's not to stop your life. It's to tell you things are important. It's to tell you, when to pay attention. It doesn't mean don't do. And I think that's a thing that hangs a lot of people up, is they think fear means stop. And no, for me, fear means pay attention. And I'm sure there's a lot of people watching who are like, well, what do you mean? What do you mean pay attention? What do you mean? Well, fear means stop. And no, it doesn't. And some of the best days of my life have been on the other side of something fearful, whether it's, doing something active in the mountains, skiing, mountain biking, whatever. But those are physical things, but emotional things too. And work things and personal life things and, adventures and trips and journeys and travel. It's all of those things have some aspect of unknown. Unknown and fear are so close for so much of our lives.
Yeah, fear often pops up, Robert, when fear of the unknown or fear of past experiences and some aspect of that was, I'll use the word uncomfortable, playing out. And another way around that, other than seeing, acknowledging it and being the divinely loving presence for it, like pretty much be that divinely loving presence for yourself. That includes these little ones inside of you experiencing fear and anguish and worry and excitement even. It's to just, no one knows what you, which that is an aspect of you, what you need to hear, what you need done for you, what actions and what words you need to hear in that moment. And the trick of becoming your own divinely loving presence is to be that divinely loving guiding presence for yourself first and foremost. So that fear is to just, what would you do if a 2-year-old came up and was scared about something? Why would you speak to yourself any less than, unless you really hate kids and I don't know, your lover, your dog, your dog's scared about something, what would you say?
Yeah.
And that's a way around it. And I had something else to tag on to what it was you were saying, but I've lost it now.
Well, but I think you make such a good point in that, in the midst of someone experiencing fear is not the time to yell at them. And you're right, that's what so much of our quote unquote modern wisdom says. Just crush it down. That's it. Put more fear on fear.
Or bully-ishness on fear. It's just to love it. What if you were feeling scared as a 2-year-old, what would you desire? What would you need? And what would you need said to make you feel safe? And when you feel that safe and that calm, this is what the clarity, from clarity you need that calmness, state of mind, state of being, And these are simple, I mean, there's many, and we can't touch upon them all in the scope of this. If anyone has any questions, we are very, very happy to answer them and bring them up on screen. This is your absolute amazing opportunity to have Serenity and Robert to answer your questions directly, like we're one-on-one, and it's our absolute expansive, loving honor to be there for you and answer your questions.
And you can ask in replay as well. You can post comments and questions in the replay.
And if you remember, make Serenity happy, write #replay. Or not. Either way, I still go in and answer the questions regularly. So Robert, I'm feeling a bit of a quietness here, a lull. Is there anything anyone else would like us to touch upon? Otherwise, I'll move toward doing the affirmations and winding up the show. See, we're getting better at this, shorter shows.
That's the clarity coming through.
I know, and speaking of clarity, you can actually hear me this week. Woo!
Yes, we've improved Serenity's audio.
Yay!
The sound of serenity.
Yeah, a moment of serenity. Okay, I'm not seeing any questions come through, so what I would like to share is the soulmate. Speaking of clarity, and actually on my actual website, which is serenityravenwolf.com, there is some box there where you can download just the clarity process workbook, and that is more generic on how to manifest your desires, and the examples I given there is how I manifested and attracted to me my dream home. And then I'll walk you through the process. And shortly, Robert and I are currently putting together the Soulmate Success Secrets, push my teeth in, 6-week online course. And in the lead up to that, if that remotely interests you, if you'd love to have your soulmate in your life with you, whether it be a friendship or an intimate one or a business partner, you can have soulmates in different forms. Please join. The link is the bit.ly/soulmate now is the link, and that'll take you over to the wait list so that you can receive a deep dive discount when we do have the course ready, because that's our honor to do that for you, for sharing. And to bring up an extra link, we would, okay, I'll drop those. That's the way it's working. I'm trying to stay present. And this is the link to join us in our Facebook group, which is growing fast. We've grown almost 2,000 in the last week and a half. Like, it's insane. We're under a year old and we're already almost up to 18,000 beautiful, and everyone's a beautiful soul. Please join us. We interact there. We share inspiring stuff. I'm happy to answer questions there. Yeah, that's it. So I think we might, unless anyone has any other question or anything, we'll go straight into the affirmations. What do you think about that, Robert?
It sounds like a good plan, because it seems like a quiet day today.
Seems like a quiet day. You never know what's happening. So what I would like for everyone to do is imagine a feather in your mind's eye, and as feathers do, it will drop gently down, 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 landing gently in the sacred space of your heart. And from here we'll expand our energies out into the universes and beyond. My clarity increases with my peaceful awareness. I pay attention to the signals around me, especially if they repeat. My patience allows new creation to form in miraculous ways. I trust my intuitive senses without imbalanced dependence. Challenge is helping me release vague or unspoken misbeliefs. Moving into the, power healing portion, 2 or 3 minutes of this energy is kind of like a whole healing. So what I find easier on these shows Yes. On these shows, I usually call it a call, is to create an energy ball which I blow into your hearts at the end. And any beautiful healing energy and our intention of love and expansiveness to share with your beautiful, brilliant, magnificent genius and radiance is encoded forevermore. Because once it's encoded in there and that's your intention, it's just there. So creating this energy, if you just, maybe you might enjoy at this moment to just close your eyes and experience and feel the energies coming through. There it comes. That's it. All around the topic we've been creating today, talking about today, creating, sharing. And as always, I will take the opportunity to say, I love you. I love you. Beautiful one. I love you. I just do. Beautiful, radiant, sweet soul. I love you with all my heart. I love you. Grumbly tummies and all. I love you. I love you. Oh, beautiful one. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us, and welcome home, beautiful. Welcome home. I love you.
That was beautiful, Serenity.
Yeah, the energy's gone. So is everyone ready? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. That's it. Right there. That's the ending of the healing, to announce it in case anyone was vague about that. Namely, Robert.
Sticking to the theme of clarity all day. Got it.
Clarity, just say it like it is, right? Say what's on your mind with love.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what's on my mind right now. That was beautiful. And we're wrapping up, and I hope everyone's going to join us next week at the exact same time. We are talking about gratitude.
Yes.
So when you get clear on what you want, then it's a wonderful time to have gratitude for that clarity and for what you want. And in specific, to understand that gratitude is a godsend, not a gimmick. And that's next week's show topic, and I hope you will all join us. I'm Robert Hubbs.
And I'm Serenity Raywolf. Bye.